So the guys and I had always been wanting to make a Western for several years now, but we just were never able to make it happen because you can't use anything of modern technology. I was kind of getting to the point where I was starting to worry about how much more we would all be able to get together to film, because Caleb was going to school in Chicago, Kenan was going to school in Nashville, Eric was moving out of Iowa, Ben was going into the National Guard. Everybody was just kind of doing their own thing, and I wasn't sure, how many more times we were going to be able to do this. So I was like, okay, let's go out with a bang.
Action!
So I called Ben in November of 2020, and we were having dinner, and I said, look, I really would like to attempt to do a Western. And, I want you to write the script. What ideas do you think could work for a Western?
I honestly don't know where the idea for Big Iron really came from, but it's always been kind of in the back of my head for a while, and it popped into my head that night when we were talking. I just had, wait, the song Big Iron, why don't we just turn it into a short film? And there had been some people that had made little tributes to this song before, but no one had ever adapted the full song into an actual film yet. And so I thought, oh, this is the perfect opportunity. This is something we could totally do. And it's something that people can really respond to because of how popular the song is.
And I was like, what's Big Iron? So I listened to the song, I liked it, and I told Ben, let's write the script and let's see what we can make of this.
So Aaron called me and he was really getting on the phone and said he might have a possible opportunity for me. Aaron asked me if I'd possibly be interested in directing Big Iron. I immediately said, well, most likely yes. Once Aaron sent the script and I read the script, I fell in love with it instantly. Ben did just incredible work with an already stellar piece of work and made it his own. And I really fell in love with that.
In August of 2020, Eric decided to move down to Texas from Iowa. So when I was down in Texas, Eric was showing me all these cool filming locations that you could go at. There was some really good landscape areas that they have down in Texas. And I was telling him on the way back to the airport, I was saying, it'd be really cool to film something down here. So we were like, you know what? Let's really push the limit here. Let's try to go film something on location in Texas.
When Aaron first suggested the idea of filming in Texas, I was just a little hesitant to do that, and not because it was a bad idea, it was just that we had stuff available to us here in Iowa, so I didn't really think there was much of a point to it, but I trusted him to do it because I felt like that he could get something out of it.
While Iowa has a lot of great places, it doesn't really give too much of a Western look. The look of Texas is going to look a lot more real than Iowa would, so I was like, let's YOLO, let's just try it. We knew in order to make this happen, we would need to do a Kickstarter because it was going to cost money to get ourselves down there, get the gear down there, get actors and crew and all that. We knew this was not going to be something we could all just do for free. So we made a Kickstarter with a goal of $3,000. My friends Michael and Brittany had made a Kickstarter for their mini-series, Stay Indie, and their goal was $1,500. And on their first day, they made $700 or $800 on the first night. So I thought maybe we could get the same thing. Our first night, I think we made $20.
Oh my God.
A lot of the guys had a lot of doubts. They didn't think it was going to happen. It seemed very far-fetched. I think they kind of thought I was in over my head. But they're like, yeah, well, whatever. We'll see what happens.
Well, Aaron came up to me and he's like, hey, we're going to raise $3,000. We're going to get everyone down. We're going to fly everyone down to Texas or drive them down to Texas. We're going to buy food for everyone. And we're going to make this great film for $3,000. And I was like, yeah, all right.
I was single-handedly ecstatic, but had no faith in it actually working.
And then about halfway through the campaign, we start getting more and more donations as people are recognizing us more. it's climbing and climbing and climbing, and then like 2 or 3 hours before the cutoff, we made $3,000. We actually, fun fact, we actually went over the goal. We got $3,001. Thanks, Caleb.
And he actually did it, so I was wrong.
Surprisingly, the Kickstarter kind of shocked us all, and well, we made it. Each actor brought something special in their audition that I kind of latched onto, and I wanted to kind of like hone in and see what they brought to the character. It was something not only perfect for the role, but something just like with a little twist that made them more than just like the casting. It brought the character to life in a way that you could see in the audition room and in the tape.
It's funny you mentioned that. I'm looking for a man that might have rolled through here. I won't be here long. I just came to bring him what he deserves. I'm an Arizona Ranger. I had worked on Promise Me, and Aaron Bandy was on that for a couple of days of shooting. And he contacted me 3 months or so afterwards and was like, hey, listen, we're doing a Western. And that was it. Like, it was like Jerry Maguire, like you had me at Western. Who doesn't want to do a Western? You kidding me? And the part they had for me was like I'm the lead, I'm kind of a badass. Like, yeah, who doesn't want to play that? The dialogue was fantastic. And I didn't realize this until quite a bit into pre-production because I had never heard the Marty Robbins song. So there were several lines the first couple times that I read the script, or even several actions that I was like, I'm not in love with that. And he sent me the song. And then I realized that basically what we're doing is we're playing out in film the lyrics of a song. And I feel like the way that he adapted that was just fantastic.
I casted Damien as a ranger because I knew not only could he bring the physical fitness and like the athletic grace to the part because he's a martial artist, but also I knew he could be intimidating, but at the end also bring nobility around him just a little bit, just to hint at that like ultra iconic look at the West that we wanted.
Want to know what these notches stand for? They stand for a dead man.
I actually saw a casting call on, I think it was one of the Austin film groups, and I saw that it was the villain. I'm like, oof, I've got to do it. And I just read some of the sides for it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to be this guy.
I casted Riggs because in the audition he did something that surprised me that I really liked. He kind of almost had like a menacing, almost like snake-like delivery to it. And also I saw he had the dramatic chops from some of his previous work and also what he did in the audition. From the audition on, I saw Riggs as Texas Red.
He was an absolute blast to play. Everything was his. There wasn't a single thing on Earth that did not belong to him and that was not for his benefit. People, towns, women, everything there was nothing that was off limits to him. And so for me, just having a character with that attitude, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be so much fun.
Well, Marty, what you writing there?
Just little things, thoughts, dreams. Maybe make a song out of it someday.
My brother, we've worked together a lot. He likes to write the films and then I'll star in them. So thankfully Ben wrote me a part as Marty Robbins for Big Iron. Yeah, it was really cool to play Marty because it was, a fictional take, but it was a really cool way to show kind of the story of the song. But yeah, no, it was really fun to listen to all of his songs and he's just a masterful storyteller and he had a huge impact, on the music industry. And so, when I was working and driving around, I would just have his playlist in my car. And so
I've worked with Alex before and I wanted to work with Alex again, and I knew he was right for the role as Marty because I knew he could portray being an artist while simultaneously also being in the moment and being anxious because all of a sudden there's this mysterious stranger with this massive cannon of a gun on his hip standing over him and the whole bar is quiet. And he can also portray being lost in the wonder and the magic of the West.
Do you want to do that, just that last part again?
Sure. When I first met him, it was at Aaron Bandy's house. We were doing just a read through and kind of a little bit of filming to send to Eric Hess, the director. And he's like, okay, I want you to drive out to my place in Des Moines, which is like 2.5 hours away, and do a table read with Alex. And I was like, what's the point? Me and Aaron are standing outside and this car pulls up and like this kid gets out that looks like 15 years old. And I was like, really? And I couldn't have been more wrong.
Goes by a lot of names. The name he prefers is Texas Red.
What do you want to see him for? If you don't mind me asking.
That was a great opportunity for me and Alex to establish a dynamic as it related to our characters. It was also a great time for me and Alex to meet one another and get a feel for the other. Nobody has taught me more than Alex, the 21-year-old kid. Like, yeah, what a guy. And then when we got to Texas, and it's like kind of like a big set, a legit set, and I don't know nobody. You know, I saw him and I was like, oh, Alex, come here. And then because we had rehearsed, albeit briefly, at Aaron's place, it made that particular scene go so much smoother. Folks around here seem to sport an awful curious nature.
Don't mind them. Don't get a whole lot of folk rolling through here, and those that do, well, they ain't always the shiniest definitions of humanity.
So again, I was not enamored with the idea. I kind of thought it was bullshit and a waste of my time.
They all have had to apologize to me and admit that I was right. Damien.
Aaron, I know you're gonna love it. I was wrong. You were right.
And Damien, he's equally as phenomenal, but he's just a different actor, as he's gonna be someone that on film and off, he's gonna knock your teeth out. And so
Eric Riggs is great. And it's funny because like his character, I want to punch in the face, right? Which is a test, like Texas Red, which is a testament to what a good actor he is. And he's really working hard in this industry. You know, like I said, him and I communicate almost daily, and he's making way more progress than I am. So I ain't mad about it. Good guy.
To be able to be flown to a location, that was surreal.
Independent film, the best you're getting is a pizza. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've driven all over the state for nothing and gotten some pizza, and I ain't mad about it. You know, almost without exception, I work with, you know, a crew that are my friends and people I care about and projects that I care about. So I don't mind doing it, but it was something cool to be like, so we're gonna pay for your plane ticket and your place to stay. I was like, wow, this, like I felt like Brad Pitt.
All right, we're leaving.
We're leaving.
Texas.
Look at the car, dude. It's packed to the brim. Look, we have even bags under our feet.
But not on the driver's side.
Yeah.
All right, we're off to Texas. Yeah.
So while Caleb's singing away to his music while we're driving, I'm like wanting to throw up. Like I was like so terrified. I was so nervous. But it was a nice drive down. That made it fun.
Oh my gosh. Meditation. I learned that at swim training. Okay, I'm okay. Yeah.
It's cold.
You didn't think I'd actually throw my phone into the water, did you?
And then we got down to Texas, and then we kind of just feel better. And I was like, you know what? I'm ready. Let's do this.
No one dared to manage his business, no one dared to make this slip. The stranger there among them had a big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. It was early in the morning when he rode into the town.
Get right in.
He came out from the south side, slowly looking all around.
We got to shoot on the J. Lorraine Ghost Town lot. They have a bunch of facade buildings. They've had The Walking Dead there. I mean, it's a great little Western town. They're extremely great for a location, and It was fantastic to actually shoot on set. I think for this project specifically, it just really helped the cast and crew's energy to just like be in the West, you know?
It's a legit Western town. And so you have streets, you have a bar, you have stables, you have the jail, you have everything there. And you can walk through the saloon, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, holy crap, this place is so cool. And they had it for like the whole week. I thought this place was just so cool. It made me think of the movie Dances with Wolves with Kevin Costner, because that was really one of the first movies that I saw as a Western, and definitely made me want to do more.
Like usually for independent film, our set is like whoever's house we can find. If we're going bougie, we're gonna get an Airbnb, or we're out in the woods somewhere. You know what I mean? And the set that we had for this was 1860s Western town. It was like 3 acres. Like, it was crazy. There were streets, there were 60 buildings. Like, yeah, when I first showed up on set, yeah, wow.
Action.
You sheriff around here?
I just swore in my old deputy first thing this morning.
I really wanted to keep the same roles that we had for the previous short films because it worked. Like, Caleb is a great cinematographer, so I knew keeping him on the camera was the perfect idea. And then we made so many new friends that were crew members, like Caleb Grisco. He was a great gaffer, amazing gaffer. He impressed all of us with his skills on making the shot look as good as it could. And all the other PAs and grips, they were amazing. They were so kind to work with, and I'm so glad that they all stepped in to help because we couldn't have done it without them.
Well, first, like a month before, we didn't have a crew. I was like, Aaron, we need a crew. So we reached out to some film pages and some Facebook groups, and we got a great crew put together. So, and we all FaceTimed them, and well, this is the first production where I had like a gaffer that knew enough to tell other people what to do. So I could tell him what I wanted, then he could manage a team of grips and go do it while I was talking with Eric on a shot or just trying to work with camera to set up the shot. It felt more professional than other things I've shot just because we had so many people that we could be like, all right, there's a whole lighting department and the lighting department's on their own and I don't have to deal with lighting. I barely set up any lights for this whole set.
Usually on an independent film set, I might be the star. Guess what? I'm carrying lights. I'm helping with, moving stuff around. I'm clearing off tables. I'm basically a PA that ends up in front of the camera. And for this one, I was not. I was basically in the way. Like first couple times we cut a scene and they were like, all right, let's reset. I started getting stuff and like the people that were there whose actual job it was were like, bro, get out of the way. Like everybody else that came in as an extra, just home run. Not only are they not getting paid, they brought all of their own stuff, all of their own old school Western gear, all their own guns, all of their own everything. Which, by the way, the worst costumed people on this entire shoot were the guys from Iowa.
Well, we got involved with Big Iron kind of by accident. We went to Manor to be in another small event that got canceled because of the weather, and we were there in our RVs, spent the night, and the next morning we just kind of fell in.
Now, I sent some information to Aaron the night before, or Friday before, and he said that he thought he could use us, so we were going to be there for another film, and we just stayed.
Making Big Iron was a really amazing experience because we had issues pop up every single day that we had to overcome, and we always did. And we had some really bad stuff hit us that probably from any other productions might have shut you down. The first day was really rainy, and Caleb and I had seen on the forecast on that Sunday that it was supposed to rain. And we had hoped that maybe it would change, but as we got closer and closer, we knew like, okay, it's probably going to rain. The first day was supposed to be all exterior shots, and the second day was supposed to be the bar. But we needed Sam to be at the bar scenes, and he wasn't there on Monday, so that wasn't possible. And then out of a stroke of luck, Sam just randomly texts me out of the blue and says, hey, would you like me to be there on Sunday? So I call Caleb and I'm like, Caleb, we can do it. So we switched the days around, and sure enough, on Monday it was pouring rain, super wet. We even got stuck in the mud at one point. And so me, Kevin, and Kenan get out of the car to push Caleb's car out. We push his car out, and then Caleb the jerk just stomps on the gas and leaves us behind in the rain.
This man thinks.
Eric and I had arranged to get people to bring horses down. You have to have horses in the Western, you have to. So I had a guy that was gonna bring horses and Eric did too. So you think we have a perfect backup.
We have Monday, the first day of shooting, right? And that night we're sitting at the Airbnb and it's me, Eric, and Aaron. And I'm like, so we're getting horses tomorrow, right? And they're like, yeah, we got both of them. I said like, yeah, I got a guy. Yeah, I got a guy. And I was like, all right, well, what happens if the horses don't show up? And they're like, well, then we're just gonna shoot a Western with no horses. And guess what?
The next morning after the first day of filming, we got up, the horses were lined up to show up with another wrangler. And I think that guy got a better deal or something. They opted out.
We had 2 of our horse connections the morning of late drop out to try to get more money.
He was telling them, he was like, yeah, we actually don't have horses, so we can't do some of the stuff that we were wanting to do.
Lisa and Joe, who answered a casting call to be extras, find out these guys aren't coming. And Joe is like, well, I got like 3 horses I can go get. No problem.
And I had the horses at home and just, took the opportunity to tell them, and they said, yeah, go get them.
Joe came up, knocked on the trailer door, and he had Eric with him, and he opened the door and he said, can we go get horses for these guys? Why are you asking me? Jump in the car and go. So that's what he did.
And really, we didn't want to see, the thing fail. You can't hardly have a Western without horses. So
everybody was so nice. We just wanted to kind of help out.
So it takes 2 hours for him to get there, 2 hours to get back, but he brings 3 of the most incredible horses
that are there for them to use, and all of that, all on the goodness of their heart.
So we use those horses for the next 2 days. No charge at all. So every horse you see in the film, theirs, that wouldn't have happened without them.
They are just the most amazing people ever. Like, we didn't have to pay them a single dime. They just wanted to do stuff for us because that was something that they'd always wanted to do, was be a part of the film and be able to participate in the film in a big way.
Joe and I got started in film because I have a love for my grandmother taking pictures when I was a little girl, and I wanted to be in the movies, and she thought my brother Neil and I would be great in the movies, in the Westerns. And my brother Neil passed away in 2016, and his love for Westerns was important to me. So it's kind of a dream, and Joe just kind of saddled up the horses and went with me. He's good backup.
It was a little crazy at times. So we obviously went in with the plan, but then literally every hour something would come up where we would have to adjust. And so just things like that where we had to scramble constantly, it felt like. But at least for me, there was never a stress about it. It was always a, hey, look, we're gonna get this done, it's gonna work. And the group of people around us, seriously, were so good at what they did. Everyone was there on their own. No one was getting paid, and just super professional, and everyone was just having the time of their lives.
Yeah, I just learned, be prepared. You never know if we thought that I would be shooting all my scenes on the second day, but it was raining, so we needed to switch it around. And so we shot all of my stuff first day. And so, I was glad that I was all prepared, because you never know, you might have to do the work right away and so, yeah, just learning, prep is super important, that especially as an actor, you can't, it's really hard to just show up and not really know what you're doing and really put out something that you're proud of. And so I'm still working on it every day, but I would say that, yeah, I'm glad I prepared, because it was important too. So
it was good, man. Like, these guys had their shit together. They had shot lists and they adhered to them.
This is the biggest cast and biggest crew I've ever had, and I loved every single minute of it. It didn't feel overloading or anything. It felt freeing. I absolutely adored this entire cast and crew.
The cast and crew was so cool, and what is so funny is the guys, and I don't know, it was Eric kept coming over apologizing to the little group that sits in a room and waits to be called out. They kept coming in going, we're so sorry, it's just gonna be another 30 minutes. And I walked out and I grabbed him by the shirt collar and I said, Eric, This is your dream. Live it large. We are sitting in here. We have water. We have food. We have camaraderie. It's one of those things that we want you to excel at what you're. Stop coming in here and telling us how sorry you are. Get out there and let's make this movie.
I kind of liked helping everybody kind of learn a little bit of the Western lifestyle. You know, they came from a part of the United States that, you know, you probably watch it a little on TV, but you kind of have to kind of change your dialect a little. Damien, he had a little bit of a New York accent, and you know, he had to learn how to say water.
So we're getting to the end of the third day. Caleb and I had wanted to get some B-roll shots of Damien on the horse riding around in the open. But the location where we were at, there was too many signs of civilization around. Austin, Texas was only like 15 minutes away, so you could see that in the background. And it just wasn't really going to work, so we thought maybe we would have to film some of those scenes back up in Iowa.
Oh, just turns out Lisa and Joe have a 500-acre ranch. What?
We really wanted to see this project, you know, fulfilled to its utmost. They were looking for some places to film outdoors, and Lisa graciously offered our place to everybody. And
it didn't take long to get to know the main actors and all you guys behind the scene. And then all of a sudden it's like, you know, these kids they've got a dream, and we just want to make sure that dream gets fulfilled. So then all of a sudden it was kind of our mission to help, because everybody was extremely talented. The storyline was something, that song, we grew up with that song, so we just kind of mixed in.
So Thursday night we head up to the ranch.
They provided their ranch and their horses and their four-wheelers and their beds for us to sleep on, and food.
Right? It was basically chicken fried venison, which the only person they told that that's what it was before they served it was me, because all these Iowa boys would freak out, but whatever.
Like they would have flown me down from Florida to walk into town with no horse. So film
that fan.
Yeah.
Hey, film your #1 fan.
It goes both ways.
I already am.
This is all, that's us.
It's us, guys. We're Austin.
Oh, I am.
It makes me feel better.
Come on, Van, do something. Settle into this.
Give them what they want. Oh.
Okay, now I'm sold.
Where's my ice cream? Where's my ice cream?
So do it in the accent.
As where's my ice cream at? You know I love ice cream. I like ice cream and pizza, but not mixed together. That was like weird.
It's great though. Still works.
Come on, you look like you're in high school.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, you do look like 2 decades younger.
You literally look like a 20-year-old right now. Are you ready to dye hair?
Oh, it is ought to be good.
Yeah, you guys are just ridiculous.
He needs that with love.
Yeah, we don't deserve you.
No, we don't.
Thanks.
That's very sweet and very smart, because now you can have breakfast.
But like half of the crew went up to their house, and Lisa cooked a meal for all of us, and we got to know them really well. A lot of the guys were hanging with Joe in the garage, just talking about stuff. Eric Riggs and I were in the kitchen talking to Lisa about our lives, and we were just learning a lot about each other. And she was telling me about stuff about her mother and her brother, who loved being a cowboy. We really connected personally on that, and we just talked for most of the evening, just getting to know each other. And it was a part of an experience that you never think you would ever have on a film shoot, where you get to know specific people so personally who were originally just supposed to be extras. And without their help, we would never have been able to complete the film. It would have, or even if we had completed the film, it wouldn't have lived up to its fullest potential.
Friday morning, I get Joe at like 5:30 in the morning come in and kind of kick me a little bit, nudge me. He says, boy, if you're gonna play cowboy, you're gonna do cowboy shit. Get up. So I get up and I spend the next 2 hours herding cattle on horseback.
Damien and I got up pretty early, and we went and we pinned all the cows up just to keep them out of our business while we were trying to film, because, you know, I knew Big Iron didn't need a stampede.
I had an incident with a horse, which bruised my under business. Joe fills in and does most of the stunt riding for the exterior scenes out in the country.
Man, it's one of the highlights of my life. I've played cowboy all my life, and I've always pretty much knew I could do some of that stuff. I just wish I hadn't waited to 65 to start, but here I am.
I think the coolest part was being out at the ranch and watching the ranch come alive with all you guys and how you dipped into the actual love of the land and the use of the trees and the horses, and watching Joe work with the horses and the dialect coach. And they would come over and say, "How do you say this? How do you say this?" And then they run back and do their line.
Wait, let me grab it. All right, let's all. That's a wrap!
It's been one of the best weeks of my life. It's no exaggeration. Thank you to everybody, cast, crew. It's been unbelievable.
I had left probably like within an hour. I had texted Damien, and I was like, dude, I just want to come back. I miss you guys already.
Oh man, are you kidding me? I was so sad. The experience that I had with the crew, the experience that I had at Joe and Lisa's ranch, the experience that I had getting to ride a horse for like 4 days, like, yeah, I was sad to leave Texas.
Kenna was born to play music, so there's nobody else I would ever want to consider scoring a film besides him.
So this already is a story told through music. And then we decided to take that and turn the music into film. And so now it's my job to go through, it was a story told through 2 filters, and now I have a 3rd filter of music set to this film based on music. And I thought, how do I make this original, yet serving and yet paying homage to the original song? It was important to me to include bits and pieces of what made the original song important, what made it work. And so what that meant was taking it from a zoomed out view. Okay, what makes this song work? A lot of what we use was the style. So you'll hear it in a lot of the music, especially the end credits, the melody style and the chord style of what makes up the whole entire piece is meant to pay homage to Marty Robbins' writing style. But there's also points in the score that I decided to make it its own thing. There was a theme for the Ranger that includes a few note rises and falls. The way the melody works sounds a little bit like Big Iron. For anybody who doesn't know, my background is that I grew up in a very musical family. This piece that you'll hear with vocals is very much a collaboration with my family. My dad actually wrote this song, and it sounds a lot like the Marty Robbins style, which you'll hear, and he plays guitar in it as well. So we wrote this song. He wrote the main part of it. I helped with a few of the lyrics, but he wrote almost the entire thing. My mom was also able to sing on this. So he recorded her with the lyrics and melody that we wrote together. And I put it together for the final score. And the main vocals that you'll hear throughout the score and on this specific piece is me.
When I started seeing pictures of like the set while I was at Basic, I was just thinking, wow, this is this is going to be something. This is going to be big.
You know, we were so proud to be in Big Iron because, as I say, there were so many people involved with different dreams, and
Well, youthful exuberance, and we like seeing it come to fruition.
It was just a group of dudes. We were making a movie, and we really were all there because we genuinely wanted it, and it was something that we all just knew that, hey, look, this is going to be great.
But yeah, what am I most proud of? Yeah, just being part of this project, that I got to be a part of something great.
I was sad to be done, but I'm glad of what we made, and I'm excited to make another one.
But yeah, no, it was really cool to meet everybody in Texas. Everybody was super nice, and yeah, it was great working with everyone.
Dude, this was a fun time. This was a blast. Thanks, Aaron.
I'm proud of the artwork we created, absolutely. But on top of that, I already gained something more, which is Film Family.
It worked out. Like, we overcame a lot of issues. We overcame casting issues. We overcame production issues. It was very difficult. We had a lot of stuff go wrong, but it was just such a huge achievement to overcome all that stuff. And then we had a nice Airbnb to go back to at the end of the day to sleep, and it was really nice. It was a really good experience.
It's the club of the awesome-looking dudes.
You ain't gotta tell me. I know I look good.
Eric, you look a little messed up.
Why do I even bother when they all have boyfriends anyway?
There's a spider, a live spider. A lot. Oh.
I think. Ask me those pictures at some point. He made it! He made it!
Who's behind the camera?
No, they mustn't see me.
It's Grant.
No.
Grant hasn't been on camera yet.
And he's here to do some business with the big iron on his ship. Big iron on his ship.